Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about how to learn or how to study for exam. In exam you have to study that how to learn and remember the thing for a longer period of time or until the time of exam. So I am going to take a reference of the 3 hours mastery course by Ali Abdal. Mastery not course, it's a video. Ali Abdal and Andrew Huberman's video on how to study and learn new things. That why I am taking these things in preference, because these are scientific and these are experiment based on research. So it not something that it's work for few people or not work for other people. It is research based, so it works for everyone. So the first I want to discuss about the offsetting of forgetting. In Lab's podcast, he talks he told that the best way to learn anything by offsetting the natural forgetting of information. What is that? You learn something, or somewhere you read something, or you watch some video, then it is the natural process that you will forget the information over time, and new information will take place of that information. So best way to learn something, offsetting the natural forgetting. What is mean by offsetting of natural forgetting? That means you have to stop the phenomena of naturally forgetting the things that you have learned. And in neuroplasticity, there is three mechanism or change happens in when you learn something. First is strengthening the certain connection or synaptic connection. Then in our brain, in our neuron, that some connection will get stronger, and that's how we learn something. And second is the weakening of synaptic connection of neuron, that the synaptic connection of neuron gets weakened in this process. And third is neurogenesis, that is the addition of new neuron. It is very rare in learning of something. Mainly the first two steps is occur mainly, that is the strengthening of certain connection, that is synaptic connection, and weakening of synaptic connection. The now question arises, how you offset the natural forgetting. The best way to stop the natural forgetting is the periodic testing. And in the earlier I mentioned then that I have watched Ali Abdal video on how to study for exam. In this video also, he mainly focuses on two things. One is active recall and another is spaced repetition. Active recalls means you read something or watch something, that means you got the information, then if you are reading book, you close the book and you start remembering what is you have learned and what is that's the process of active recall. In that way also that in that way also the periodic testing, in some period of time, let's say you study something today, then tomorrow you actively recall it, that you testing that how many things you can remember what you have studied earlier. So it is the best to periodic testing, it is the best tool for offsetting of forgetting in any kind, and also help in evaluating your learning. You can also evaluate how much you have learned and how much you can retain that learning. Neuroplasticity and learning, that is the connection, that is converting studying effort into retention of knowledge. In periodic testing, you converting the studying effort into your retention of knowledge, that how much you can retain that knowledge. It is the function of periodic testing. Now it is a two-step process. The periodic testing, it is the two-step process. First is alertness and focus, and second is sleep. First you have to, what you are studying, you have to focus on that thing, and you have to be alert on that thing. You cannot passively learn something, that you are consuming something or you are thinking about some other thing, and you are just watching in any videos or reading something, and in your mind something other thing is going on. That's the not way to learn learn new thing. And second, and it is the more important, is sleep. That how much you have learned in a day, that is processed in your mind, and your mind is recall it when you get into the sleep. You can increase the focus and alertness by reminding yourself this is important. How can you improve the focus and alertness? You have to constantly remind yourself that what I am studying or learning, this is important. That's how the alertness and focus will come into take place. Voluntarily force yourself to focus, that is the constant bringing back of your mind's attention to what you try to learn. You you have to constantly bring your attention into the thing what you are learning. Your mind will get diverted a few minutes or few, based on the your alertness and focus. Then everyone gets distracted, that he is learning something or reading something, then the focus is breaks. So you have to constantly bring the attention on what you are trying to learn. It is the voluntarily force to yourself, that is explaining here. It is meant to feel difficult, and which serve the cue to neural circuit that they need to change in later time. That is good. When you are constantly bringing back the attention or trying to learning something, that is it is meant to be feel difficult, and that is the signal going to in your brain or your neuroplasticity, that something needs to change. The synaptic connection of neuron then gets strengthened, and the connection will become stronger. And the non-important thing that, or which you are passively something you have consumed, that connection will get weakened. And the where you are actively focusing on, that part of only your mind can retain. That is neuroplasticity needs to take place. That is the cue that you are learning. Whenever you feel difficult, that you are facing frustration or something not feeling well, that is the signal that your neural connection getting fixed, and you are learning something. Improve focus and mindfulness meditation. Constantly bring back your attention on one thing over and over again. This may be breath or something. You have to train yourself to focus on one thing for a longer period of time. That is the function of meditation or mindfulness. You have to train your mind to focus on one thing. Your mind will get distracted. Then you have to constantly bring back your attention to whether it is your work related thing, or in your breath, or your particularly one thing. You have to train yourself to be focused on particular one thing that will help you to increase your time period or your ability to learn. Then the sleep and neuroplasticity. Strengthening and weakening of neural connection occurs in sleep. You the neural connection, the neuroplasticity occurs when you are asleep. So that's why the sleep is more important. In most of the cases, in one day after one day before exam, when people study for long period of time, they wake up all night and they study all night, and then without any sleep they go to their exam. That is the wrong approach to study. You have to constantly work. You study less time, but you have to maintain the consistency. Rather than you are studying the 10 hours one day before exam, that will your mind cannot able to fix the thing that you have studied. So it is the waste of time and your energy. And the better way, you study less and get a good sleep, so that your neuroplasticity can happen, and you can get the better score in your exam. Do your best and get sleep right. When you are studying, do your best, so that you you so that you feel sleepy. If you are not giving your 100% or in any work, you have to put your energy, so that put your energy so much into that thing, then that's that bring you a good sleep. So this is more helpful in this way. Study habit for successful student. What are the common successful habit of some successful student? These are the based on the research going on for longer period of time, and the conclusion are come there. They said study time. Sorry for the interruption. And the second study habit is putting your phone off or aside, isolating yourself and studying alone. Tell your friends and family that they are not available at that time. You have to keep your phone aside, and you have to schedule a time that in that period of time you are going to study without any distraction. You can tell your friends or family that in that time they don't disturb you. And this is the second habit of successful student. Make an effort to teach other people. Pair. If you teach something, who teaches learns the twice. It's the phrase I can remember right now. So when you teach something, then your mind is, you have to recall it and say it to another. So that way you are the offsetting of natural forgetting. It's done in a better way. So it is the another third habit of successful student. Here mentioned that schedule the time to study, set aside of your phone and learn to focus on your material. Then what are the material available to you for studying? In that material you focus. This is a skill and study you can learn. In the day one you cannot able to do it 100%, you will get failed. So you have to don't bring the false expectation. Then in the day one, when I will try, then I won't be get distracted, and in that schedule, in that period of time, I 100% I will get to study. No, in the first that will be difficult for us, difficult for you, that you have to remember it when you are targeting that I am going to study 3 hours. If you are not able to study 3 hours, you studied 1 hour, then you don't have to say that I am a failure, I plan to study 3 hours but I get to study only 1 hour. You have to tell yourself that I am a winner. And yesterday I have not studied at all, but today I have studied 1 hour. That in that way you giving reward to your mindset and your mind that you are doing something good, that will motivate you to more study in later. Studying an aspirational goal. Fourth number of study habit of successful student, they have very long term and understanding or believe that how they how their study and success will impact their family, their life, and how they would change. They have the long term vision that I am studying right now, I am sacrificing something, and maybe my friend is doing parties or watching Netflix, then I am sacrificing it for the better future. They know that they in the long term the study or the sacrifice which he is making is going to give more reward and change their life, their family, and have a great impact in the study on his life. Studying that is challenging, that is the most effective. What studying, what is the subject that you are studying? If it is challenging, that then it is effective. If it is very easy, then you will get bored. Effort is cornerstone of learning. The more you put effort into it, the more you will learn that thing, and the study material you will be remember for longer period of time. Testing is the best way to build or build our knowledge and retain our knowledge and offset the forgetting. So you have to constantly test yourself in a period of time, so that you can remember or retain the knowledge which you have studied. Now another term is familiarity and mastery. What is familiarity and mastery? Familiarity is about the thing, is not the familiarity about things is not the mastery of the thing. If you are familiar with something, that doesn't mean that you achieve the mastery on that thing. Reading over and over make you familiar about thing, but exposing to the material and testing yourself and improving where your works makes mastery. If you read something over and over, then you will be familiar with that thing. But if you expose to that material or video or anything that you are trying to learning that material, and test yourself, and based on the testing you evaluate yourself that how much how much I am able to learn, and improve yourself. Then again you expose to that material, again you test yourself that how much percentage I can retain the knowledge. That's how you will able to achieve the mastery. So testing and self-testing and offsetting of natural forgetting, that I have already told you that self-testing is the best way to offsetting the natural forgetting. Take a few minutes after exposed to the material and think about the material and test yourself. When you are exposed to some material, then take a few minutes of break, then again closing that material, you rethink and think about that material, that how much you can able to learn, or how much you able to recall. That's how the you have to do your learning. If you find that it is if you find that you don't know material, confused or overwhelmed by it, great. When you have studied, take a break, then you have trying to recall it, and you don't able to remember the material, or confused about it and overwhelmed by it. That is the great. That is your you accomplish the first step of learning, or signaling, you giving the signal to your nervous system that you needs to learn the material. You creating a opportunity to enhance neuroplasticity. When you are feeling that overwhelmed and confused by it, the signal is going on in your nervous system that neuroplasticity needs to be happen. That is the first step of your learning, which is really all about testing. You are going to test yourself so that you figure out what you don't know, so that you look up that material and test yourself again, so that ultimately you forget very little. When you trying to recall that the material which you have exposed to, when you are not able to remember it, or then you are getting to know that how much you can remember it, and that's how you again exposed to that material, then again you test yourself. That's how you ultimately forget a little of it. The forgetting percentage will be reduced, and your retention of the knowledge will improve over and over when you repeat the things. Gap effect. When take periodic pause in learning of material and let your hippocampus generate more retention of that material. Testing of study. When you study something, you have to take a gap, you have to take a rest, that so that your hippocampus generate the retention of material, which is the nervous system's activity, which will help you to remember the things which you are trying to study. Testing is a form of study. Testing is not other part of study. When we in our college, or we have trained that you study, then after that study you will give a test, then the game is over. You have to don't look at the material over again. You have passed the class, and you have to now study for next class. That is not the happen. When you are giving the test, that is also a form of learning. You are getting to learn more from the test than you have studied in your classroom or in your self study. When you are giving the test, then that is the better way to learn. That is will help you more remember the things that you have studied or you have attended in the lecture. In the Ali Abdal's video, he also talks about the space repetition things, that when I will that when you are learning something, that is how I can okay, it is your zero level, and you are studying. When you are studying, you got the knowledge of this kind, this much. When time passes, this is the time, and this is the knowledge you have studied. When you study, then you get the knowledge. Over the time, it is get diminishing. But when you repeat that study, you give the spaced repetition, then again it will come into that level, and the remembering forgetting process will get slowed down, and it will be like this. And when again you give the another repetition, then you are forgetting the lesser the amount you have studied. So when you give the repetition two to three or 4 or 5 repetition after few days, let's say you studied something today, after 2 days you revise the thing, then after 5 days you again revise the thing, then after 10 days you again revise the thing. The day after 4 or 5 revision, you will remember the thing very less. So that is the thing which I know about the learning of new thing. So I hope no one watching till now. Thank you.